Okay, picture this. You're deep in concentration. Maybe you're at work, could be studying, maybe just trying to enjoy a quiet moment. And then, bam, your mind just starts to wander. Not just, a little bit, but really drifts off, conjuring scenarios, maybe replaying conversations, worrying about stuff. What if those thoughts, what our listener actually calls delusive thoughts, what if they're having a much bigger impact on your life than you even realize? So in this deep dive, we're going to dig into this really fascinating concept of delusive thinking. It's known as Vangtu. And we're drawing on some pretty profound wisdom here from Venerable Master Bennie from the Australian Buddhist Practice Incorporated. Our mission today is basically to give you a powerful shortcut to understand what these thoughts are, how they mess with everything from your focus to your relationships, and maybe most importantly, how you can break free and really ground yourself right here in the present. We'll get into questions like, why do our minds wander off like that even when we know better? And also, what does it really mean to appreciate something or someone? Get ready for some, I think, surprising insights and some really actionable stuff. So let's just jump right in. We heard from a listener, someone who sounds like a really diligent learner. They shared this very specific experience. They'll be super focused on a task, right? But after just like 3 to 5 minutes, poof, their mind starts drifting into what they know are these, quote, delusive thoughts. They pull themselves back, but there's this fear that even at night, these thoughts show up in dreams and just keep, well, haunting them. That was their word. They described it as feeling enchanted or even bewitched by them. It sounds quite powerful.
It really does. And what's so striking right off the bat is the master's response. It's incredibly direct, almost starkly simple. He just says, knowing it's delusive thinking, let go of it.
Just like that.
Just like that. No complex rituals, no lengthy step-by-step practices needed in that moment. The core message seems to be that these thoughts, they're illusory. They aren't solid, not real in the way they feel. You aren't actually trapped by them. It's more like you're choosing, maybe unconsciously, to run after them.
Wow, okay. That's a huge reframing.
Yeah.
Because if you feel enchanted, it must feel incredibly real, like you are trapped. So the master is saying letting go of the illusory thing is enlightenment. It doesn't need some long, drawn-out process.
Exactly. It implies the transformation is right there, in that instant of recognizing it and releasing your grip.
That kind of immediacy, it challenges how we usually think about enlightenment, right? As some distant goal you work towards for years.
It does. But, and this is really important, there's a crucial nuance. The master also warns against trying to completely destroy the mind's function. Don't just shut it all down.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Because, he says, that could lead to losing wisdom. You could fall into what he calls stubborn emptiness, which isn't, the liberating emptiness of wisdom, but more like a dull, stagnant state. Unresponsive.
Okay, so like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, you don't want to stop the mind working, just stop it working badly.
Precisely. It's not about stopping thinking. It's about changing how you think. He frames it as a misuse of the mind's function, not some fundamental flaw in the mind itself.
A misuse. Can you give another example? How else might someone be misusing their mind in this way?
Absolutely. Think of your mind like a really powerful computer, a tool. You can use it to design something amazing, solve problems, create, or you can use it to just run an error message on repeat, an endless loop.
Gotcha.
The master isn't saying switch the computer off. He's saying recognize that error loop and just stop running that specific program.
Yeah.
It's about spotting those unproductive patterns and consciously directing your mental energy somewhere else, somewhere productive.
That idea of misusing the mind, it really clicks with something else our listener shared. They mentioned seeking out fortune tellers when life felt really unstable. But then when things got better, they just stopped going and they wondered, why was I like that? It sounds like another kind of misdirection, doesn't it?
Oh, that's a perfect connection.
Yeah.
A really perfect example. And the master's reply there is so insightful. He points out, hey, the listener isn't foolish. Not at all. They clearly know what's useful and what's not. They stopped when it wasn't needed anymore.
Right.
So the problem isn't lack of intelligence. It's that habit again. A habit of misusing the mind, seeking external fixes like fortune tellers for what are often internal imbalances or anxieties. And the master is explicit. Delusive thoughts, and by extension these kinds of external dependencies, when misused, they can ruin things: family, study, career.
And he calls this ignorance or folly.
Yes, ignorance, vomin, or folly, ingusi, in the Buddhist terms he uses. But it simply means using the mind in the wrong way. It's like constantly trying to fix the leaky pipe by just painting over the water stain on the wall. You're not addressing the source.
Okay, so for someone listening, wanting to break this kind of habit, whether it's the wandering thoughts or maybe relying too much on external things. It's not about somehow escaping these things completely.
No, not escaping. It's about recognizing them for what they are, a misused function. And then using your wisdom, that intelligence, the master says, you do have to redirect your energy.
So what's the practical instruction then?
Recognize it. See the thought or the urge. Then withdraw from it. Gently pull back your attention. And simply, as the master puts it, abide in your current study or work. Focus on what's right in front of you.
Just bring it back to the present task.
Exactly. And he stresses, this isn't just some niche personal problem. This is something everyone struggles with. We're talking about breaking a deeply ingrained habit. The mind just automatically churns out these delusive thoughts, these attachments. It's what minds do. The solution isn't to stop the mind, but to actively notice when it's doing that. Let go of that specific thought stream and refocus. Right here, right now.
This focus on the present and how we use our minds, it leads perfectly into another big question the listener had, this time about relationships. Why is it that we often cherish something or someone so intensely at the beginning, but once we have it, whether it's a partner, a job, even a new gadget, it just becomes routine, a habit, and we lose that initial appreciation? How do we learn to actually value the present and the people who are in it?
Yeah, that's a classic human experience, isn't it? Yeah. And the master offers, well, a pretty radical redefinition of appreciation.
Radical how?
Well, most of us think of appreciation as a feeling we get towards someone who benefits us.
Right.
We appreciate them because they're good to us.
Sure, that sounds normal.
But the master flips it completely. He says true appreciation means you actively doing good for others, you becoming a source of support for them. It's the total opposite of waiting around for others to do nice things for you or meet your expectations.
Whoa. Okay, that is different. It's about giving, not receiving. He gets pretty direct about this too, doesn't he? I remember that analogy.
Yes. The snot analogy. It's certainly vivid.
Very vivid. He says if you only want to rely on others, everyone will eventually treat you like snot, something to be flicked away.
It's blunt, absolutely. And perhaps intentionally shocking. Is that typical of his style?
From what we see here, he definitely doesn't shy away from strong imagery to really hammer a point home. It's meant to shake you out of your usual perspective, I think.
Makes sense. So it really pushes us to ask, okay, what does this mean practically? For our listener, for you listening now, in your family, with friends, at work, the advice is make yourself good for your family. Do things for them.
Actively contribute.
Actively contribute. And don't get stuck wallowing in past mistakes or regrets. Instead, compensate by doing better now. Actively make amends through present action. The key qualities he mentions are humility, being cautious, and avoiding arrogance and anger. Those are crucial.
So by proactively doing good for others, by becoming that pillar he talks about.
Exactly, a pillar for beings. By doing that, you naturally earn respect and appreciation, not because you demanded it, but because you embody that supportive quality.
It makes sense. You value someone you can rely on, someone who contributes positively. Now, taking this idea of connection a step further, the listener also asked about causal conditions, nanduyen. Why do we meet certain people, specific teachers, spouses, friends, and why do some connections last a lifetime while others just fizzle out? They wanted to understand how to harmonize these relationships, how to stay grounded and not get swept away by all the social stuff.
Right, nanduyen. It's a core concept. And the master's take is, again, very direct. He says all your encounters, everyone you meet, every significant relationship, these are your own causal conditions manifesting.
Our own, so not just random chance.
Not random, no.
Yeah.
It implies we have some agency here. He says you actually have the power to increase or decrease these connections through your actions and intentions.
Okay, how? What's the secret to making the good ones last?
The secret, according to the master, is mutual respect. And crucially, doing good for each other without expecting anything in return.
There it is again. No expectation.
Exactly. If the giving, the respect, the support is only flowing one way, that good connection, that positive causal link will deplete pretty quickly. It runs out of energy, so to speak.
So it comes right back to that idea of being a support, not just seeking support.
Yeah.
If both people are just waiting to receive.
The connection fades. It can't sustain itself.
Okay, but what if you were trying? What if you were being supportive and respectful, but the other person isn't? They don't reciprocate.
Yeah, that's the tough part, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the master's advice here is crystal clear. Don't blame them.
Don't blame them, even if it feels unfair.
Even then, everyone has their own choices, their own karma, their own path. We can't control how others behave or feel. He warns against acting like petty people. Tionan is the term.
Yeah.
People who are difficult to nurture because, as he puts it, they show disrespect when you're close and complain when you're distant.
Hard to please, basically.
Very. So the focus has to remain on your own actions, doing well yourself, controlling what you put out there, not trying to control the other person's response.
That demands a lot of self-mastery and recognizing the destructive forces within ourselves, I guess.
Precisely. He explicitly points to the big ones, desire or craving them, anger, aversion san, ignorance, delusion sus, arrogance man, and doubt and
The 5 hindrances or afflictions.
yes, those fundamental afflictions.
Yeah.
He says these are the very things that poison and destroy good connections.
And because people habitually, often unconsciously, operate from these states.
Well, then good connections naturally deplete. It pulls us right back into that cycle of delusive thinking, self-centeredness, and weakened relationships. You see how it all connects. He brings it full circle. All the listeners' questions about wandering thoughts, about appreciation, about why relationships succeed or fail, they ultimately revolve around this one core principle.
Genuine appreciation expressed as doing good for others without expectation.
That's the heart of it. That seems to be the path he's pointing towards for breaking free from delusion and building strong, positive connections.
Wow, what a deep dive that was. We've really journeyed quite far, haven't we? From just understanding that simple act of noticing and letting go of a delusive thought, to recognizing how easily our minds can be misused almost habitually, and then landing on this really profound, almost challenging redefinition of what appreciation truly means. It's about service, about connection.
Yeah, the wisdom here, it points towards a path that sounds simple but is actually quite powerful. Actively engage with what's right in front of you, serve others genuinely, and try not to get tangled up in expectations or the blame game.
So as you, our listener, go about your day after this, maybe just pause for a moment and consider this. What specific delusive thinking, maybe an unexamined habit, perhaps a subtle expectation you hold in a key relationship, or even just a recurring self-critical thought, what might be subtly shaping your life, your connections right now without you fully realizing it and following the master's advice? What small conscious shift could you maybe make? Just one little thing to start freeing yourself right here, right now, something to think about.